In the heart of the jagged, remote mountains stood a serene valley, untouched by the chaos of the modern world. Towering peaks, shrouded in mist, framed this hidden haven, casting an eerie yet enthralling ambience. It was within this wilderness that Alex and Emily, a young couple with an insatiable thirst for adventure, decided to embark on a hiking journey that would forever alter the course of their lives. Setting off with backpacks laden with supplies and hearts brimming with excitement, they ventured deep into the valley, their footsteps echoing against the towering walls of rock. The beauty of nature surrounded them. Wildflowers painted the meadows with vibrant colors, and the air tasted of crisp pine. But beneath this seemingly idyllic surface lurked an ancient malevolence, a creature as old as the mountains themselves, an entity that had learned to haunt the lonely trails. Days turned into nights as they pressed deeper into the valley, following winding paths that led them into uncharted territory. It was during the second night, as the moon cast eerie shadows on the landscape, that the first signs of unease crept into their minds. Soft rustlings in the underbrush, distant whispers carried by the wind, and fleeting shadows just at the edge of their vision. They laughed off their paranoia, attributing the strange occurrences to fatigue and imagination. But as the days wore on, the unease grew harder to ignore. Footsteps echoed theirs, yet slightly out of sync. Pebbles shifted when no one was near. Even the wildlife seemed to retreat from their presence. The forest, once their ally, had transformed into a labyrinth of unease. One evening, as they set up camp in a small clearing, the sensation of being watched became overwhelming. The forest was pregnant with a suffocating tension, and even the campfire's warm glow couldn't dispel the creeping dread. Their whispered conversations were punctuated by abrupt silences, their gazes darting into the shadows. "We should turn back," Emily finally said, her voice barely above a whisper, as if the very air might carry their fear to an unseen predator. Alex hesitated, torn between the desire to conquer their anxiety and the growing realization that their journey might indeed be spiraling into a nightmare. "Let's give it one more day," he suggested, his own unease concealed beneath a veneer of forced optimism. The following morning, they woke to a haunting sight. The trees around their campsite were adorned with shredded remnants of their clothing, strips of fabric fluttering like macabre flags in the wind. Panic set in as they realized they were stranded, their gear vandalized beyond use, and the path ahead seemed to shift and twist, defying any attempts to find their way back. With a sinking feeling of inevitability, they trudged onward, the forest now openly hostile, its very essence rejecting their presence. It wasn't long before the menacing signs escalated. Whispered voices grew louder, indistinct words coiling around their minds, gnawing at their sanity. Emily began to see fleeting glimpses of movement at the corner of her vision, yet every time she turned, nothing was there. As the days merged into a disorienting blur, they stumbled upon a clearing unlike any other. An altar of gnarled trees stood in the center, adorned with the decaying remnants of offerings, bones, feathers, and other unidentifiable objects. The air reeked of an otherworldly stench, a mixture of rot and ancient dread that clung to their clothes. "Alex, we need to leave now," Emily pleaded, her voice quivering with desperation. But the forest had grown relentless, its grip unyielding. With each step they took, they felt the presence of the unseen stalker drawing nearer, the boundary between their world and the sinister unknown thinning. Whispers turned into snarls, shadows into menacing forms that lingered at the periphery of their vision. In their final moments of terror, as the forest seemed to close in around them, the entity struck. With a guttural howl that seemed to pierce their very souls, it surged forth from the shadows, an amalgamation of darkness and primal fear. Emily's scream was swallowed by the abyss, her hand torn from Alex's grasp as she vanished into the grasp of the creature. Alex was left standing alone, paralyzed with fear and consumed by a terror beyond comprehension. The forest fell silent, the malevolent presence receding as if sated by its malevolent triumph. And then, with an unsettling calmness, The path that had eluded them for days became clear, leading back to the world they had once known. Search teams scoured the valley, desperate to find any trace of Alex and Emily. But the mountains remained steadfast in their silence, revealing no secrets. The couple had become another tale of the wilderness, lost to the shadows that clung to the heart of the mountains.